Hey, welcome, and thanks for joining me. This episode will be a bit of a departure from our usual show. In this episode, I will walk you through the steps and reasoning behind running your own Bitcoin node. We'll be setting up an implementation of Start9's Embassy OS. If you already have an Umbrel, you'll already have everything you need. If you have not set up your own node, you have two options. You can pick up the list of parts that I have linked in the show notes. This will include a Raspberry Pi 4 with 8 gigabytes of memory, a 1 terabyte hard drive, a case, and a few other parts. Alternatively, you can just pick up the hardware from Start9 completely ready to go. It's called the Embassy 1. Now, the reasoning for running your own node. If you're going to be a sloppy hog that gets to keep your Bitcoin, keep the Bitcoin, one of the first steps to having Bitcoin sovereignty is running a node. You might ask yourself, but why? Why do I need to run a node? Well, in Bitcoin, we say trust. In Bitcoin, we say don't trust, verify. When you're connecting to someone else's node, you are trusting and not verifying. With all the crazy leverage unwinding currently happening, I shouldn't have to explain why you shouldn't trust anyone. A Bitcoin node is simply a computer that runs Bitcoin Core, downloads the entire block history, and uses this information to broadcast and receive transactions. Your node cross-checks its data with other nodes across the Bitcoin network to verify it has the correct data. Each block contains the solved hash from the parent or previous block. Each new block requires the parent's block hash, ensuring a chronological order. In this way, you can be sure that you have absolutely correct information and you have trusted no one. All right, let's get started setting up your node. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Start9's website and we're going to go over here to Menu. We're going to go to Support. And then we're going to go to DIY Guide. This is their do-it-yourself implementation of their node. Their software is completely free, so if you buy all of these parts, which they list here, and I'll put all this stuff in the show notes again, you'll be able to build your own node, download their software, and run yourself an Embassy OS Bitcoin node. So again, we're walking through the parts here. You need a case, a Raspberry Pi, an SSD, an SD card, Ethernet cable, and a couple other parts which they list. They have a convenient little assembly video for you. If you have any trouble putting this thing together, it's pretty simple, but you can just watch their assembly guide. Very easy stuff. So first of all, after you have your hardware put together, you're going to go to Embassy OS GitHub. Now, it's going to depend which software you're using. If you're using Linux, Mac, Windows, you're going to choose the file that is associated with your operating system. So in my case, it's going to be this EOS-TARGZ file, which you'll find down here. So you're going to click on that. It's going to begin downloading over here. I have already downloaded this, so I'm just going to stop that download. But in your case, you're going to allow that download to finish. It'll be in your downloads section. And the next thing you're going to want to do is unzip it. Okay, now once that file is downloaded, you're going to go to your files, your downloads. So here's my download folder. We see the file that I downloaded. It's eos.tar.gz. It's very important here. So you see that this is a 1.3 gigabyte file. This should be 16 gigabytes or so when you unzip it. So if you just copy this file onto your SD card and pop it in your node, it's not going to work. So you're going to need to double click on this. You're going to see it says expanding EOS. We're going to wait for that to be done. Then we're going to pop our SD card into our computer once this is done and use something called Balena Etcher to put it onto the SD card. So now you can see that we have EOS image and it's 15.93 gigabytes. That's exactly what we want. So now we're going to go back to Start9, follow the rest of their guide here. So the next thing is installing this Embassy OS onto your SD card. So you're going to need Balena Etcher. So we'll go there, show you that. Here's Balena Etcher's website. You're going to pick your OS, and for me it's Mac, and then I'm going to click on this and download it. So now we're downloading Etcher. Once that's downloaded, you install it. Simply open it up from your downloads area and click install. So once you have that all set up, we want to take that file that we just unzipped and we want to put it on the SD card using Balena Etcher. So what I'm going to do now is pop my SD card in to my Mac. Got it in there. And we're going to open Balena Etcher right here. This is what it'll look like. So what we're going to do is say flash. So we want to pick a file to flash. So we want to pick the one I just had, which is eos.img image. It should be 15.93 gigabytes. That's correct. We want to hit open. Now we're going to select the target. So I just put that SD card in my computer. That is the target. So we're going to pick the Apple Media Reader, which is that 31 gigabyte SD card. Click that, select, and now we hit flash. Probably going to ask you to put in your password here. This should take about 6 minutes. So I'll cut it here and I'll pick it up with you after this is done. All right, so when Balena Etcher is done, it's going to say flash complete right here, and it will have automatically auto-ejected that SD card. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take that SD card out. We're going to go pop it into that Raspberry Pi that you have already set up, connected to your SD or your 1 terabyte hard drive, and you're going to power that thing up and let it run for a little bit. The cloud is just someone else's computer. Everything you do online is intermediated and permissioned. Your data is not yours. Opt out by running a private server and take back control over your digital life. Until now, running a private server has only been available to the technical and the wealthy. The team at Start9 has developed an operating system called Embassy OS that levels the playing field and makes it possible for everyone else. Run a Bitcoin node, run a Lightning node, and become your own everything. Embassy OS is the distribution platform open source software has been waiting for. You can download Embassy OS for free and install it on your own hardware, or you can buy one of Start9's plug-and-play devices. They build reliable products backed up with incredible customer support. Visit start9.com.
The BCB podcast is sponsored by Capital Logistics. Capital Logistics is a freight broker connecting truck drivers and shipping partners around North America. A true blue-collar business that supports blue-collar Bitcoin. They specialize in temperature-controlled cargo, efficiently hauling food, supplies, and other freight nationwide for some of America's largest companies. Capital Logistics is a firm believer that people and businesses should be able to save what they earn without having their purchasing power manipulated by the financial system, ravaged by inflation and currency debasement. As early adopters of innovative systems throughout their business, Capital's excess cash flow is put into Bitcoin every month. If you're someone that wants to work with a company that shares blue-collar values and an affinity for Bitcoin, reach out to Capital Logistics today. Find them online at capitallogisticsllc.com. That's capitallogisticsllc.com.
Okay, so this is what will show up after initialization. What you've got here is a couple of different things. It says that your setup is complete. You've claimed your embassy. So you've got two different ways to access this thing. One is from your local area network or your Wi-Fi at home. So you should have your node plugged in using an Ethernet wire to your router. From there, it is getting broadcast on your Wi-Fi, and you'll be able to access it while you're at home with that. And this is the address right here. For me, it's embassykissablestreet.local. Save that for later. Then below that, we have what's called the root certificate. This is very important. This is something that separates Embassy from some of the other node implementations out there. If, let's say, you're paranoid and you're worried that somebody could be snooping on your Wi-Fi traffic, which may or may not be paranoid these days. It's very possible, especially if you use a weak password. With this, you've got this root certificate that is implemented on your OS level on your computer, in this case, a Mac. And it's also, so it communicates with cryptography. It's cryptographically sealed between your node and your computer, so that even if somebody is snooping on your internet traffic on your Wi-Fi network, they will not be able to see the information that is passing between these two without the ability to without this certificate, basically. Now, down below that, we've got the Tor implementation, or the way to access this via Tor. We'll go over each one of these. So first of all, let's do this. We'll copy this LAN address. into my browser here. So when I paste this, here's the problem we have. It's going to say this connection is not private because that certificate is not installed on our computer yet. So let's go ahead and install this root certificate on my computer. Now, I don't have a PC to show you the PC version of this. It's going to be very similar, but here is the Mac version of how you do this. So you hit download this root certificate. You're going to see it's downloaded here on the bottom left. If you don't see it here, go in your downloads folder and find it. Double click on it. It's going to ask for your password. Put in your password and hit modify keychain. So now here it is in the keychain itself. The problem is it says this root certificate is not trusted. So we want to enable trust on this certificate. So we're going to double click on the red X. Bring this to the center for you. So we'll see where it says trust. I'm going to bring that down. So you want to tell it to trust this certificate. So when using this certificate, go to the drop down here and hit always trust. Then hit the red X. And you have to again put in your password. Hit update settings. And now you can see that that certificate is trusted and it's blue instead of red. So now when we come back over here and we go to the same local network, boom, certificate is trusted. All of the activity between your browser, your computer, and that node is now, it's all encrypted. So you don't have to worry about anyone snooping. All right, so before we go any further with the embassy, I'm going to show you Tor really quick. So if you don't have Tor on your computer, you're going to need to go download it. Best place is from the Tor project. So just go to Google, type in Tor, right there, the Tor project, and download it. Download it for whatever you're using, computer or Mac, PC, whatever. So once you have that downloaded and installed, the Tor browser is something a lot different than what our normal computer browser is. It's I've already gone to it there. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to open it up. A lot of times it's going to ask you to connect. You just hit connect. It might take a few minutes. Tor is very slow in general, but it will get there. You just have to be patient. So let's go back to that certificate we were talking about. All right, so now here's the Tor address. You can always tell it's a Tor address because it's going to have a .onion at the end. So let's copy that. Let's go back to Tor and let's paste that in. Perfect. All right, so now, so the difference between these two things is when you're at home, when you're on your Wi-Fi, you can access this with your regular browser, Safari, Chrome, whatever you want to use. You want to use this address, the LAN address. Paste that in. You're going to come here. Where was it? I think I erased it. Anyway, the point is, when you go there, it's going to be quick, it's going to be fast, it's going to be bam, bam, bam. When you're not home and you want to access your Start9 for some reason, you're going to use Onion, and it's going to be a lot slower, but you're going to be able to have access to it. So what we've accomplished here is 3 different things. We've shown you how to access it at home. We've shown you how to approve the root certificate so that your computer can communicate via encryption. And then over Tor, everything is encrypted anyway, so that's not a necessity there. So you can access it outside of your home with Tor, in your home with this LAN address, and you want to install this root certificate. All right, now let's look at the embassy setup. So now you've got this thing running good, and you put in your password. And you are introduced to your embassy here. So first thing you want to do is go to Marketplace and go to Bitcoin Core. This thing has tons of other functionality. You can do lots and lots of other things, but for the purposes of this, we're just going to concentrate on Bitcoin Core. So you're going to install Bitcoin Core. Something to keep in mind here. It's very quick to install Bitcoin Core. It's already almost done. You can see it's very, very quick. It will not be quick downloading the blockchain itself. The blockchain is going to take you anywhere from 2 days to a week, depending on your speed of your internet, the speed of the node you're downloading these blocks from. It's a 500 and some gigabyte file, so it is going to take some time. In the meantime, you will not be able to use this for transactions, but you will be able to, say, set up Sparrow, which is what we'll do next. You can set up Sparrow to connect to this. That way, when it is completely uploaded, you've got the entire blockchain. You'll be able to reference your node using your implementation of Sparrow to do transactions and to verify blocks and, basically use this the way God intended. All right, so we're configuring our Bitcoin Core here. You can just go in here and click Save, and then click Start. And it's firing up. In a second, you're going to see it's going to start syncing with the Bitcoin blockchain. And again, this will take quite some time. All right, so now you should have Bitcoin Core up and running. One thing you want to make sure is that when you do set it up, when you're in the configuration setup initially, you want to make sure that under Wallet, Enable Wallet is on. Okay, so you're going to hit Save there. Then you're going to go to the marketplace and you're going to find Bitcoin Proxy. You're going to install it. All right, and there is one more service we want to install while we're in here, and that one is called Electrys. And let's see. So it's EL. There it is, Electrys. So I have it installed, but when you get here, you want to just click Install. So now we've installed 3 different services on our embassy. We've installed Bitcoin Core, Bitcoin Proxy, and Electrys. Those are the 3 we're going to need for the setup we're going to have. All right, so from here, we have to install Homebrew on your Mac. So what we'll be doing is going to this page, which I'll also link in the show notes, to install Tor OS at the kernel level on your Mac. So what we're doing here is installing Homebrew. So we'll go to Mac, install Homebrew. So this is pretty simple. All you're going to do is follow the prompts here.
Folks, SWAN Bitcoin is the place we point friends, family, and fellow firefighters to buy Bitcoin. SWAN is a secure, education-focused, Bitcoin-only on-ramp fit for novices all the way up to full-time financial professionals. SWAN's exceedingly easy-to-use interface enables you to dollar-cost average daily, weekly, or monthly, as well as conduct instant smash buys. Withdrawals to cold storage are completely free and can be totally automated. SWAN wants you to hold your own private keys, and support is one click or phone call away if you need help in that process. Additionally, check out SWAN Premium. This gives members exclusive Bitcoin educational content, discounts on Bitcoin products and services, and privileged access to SWAN events. Normally $20 a month, you can get SWAN Premium for free for the first year at swan.com/premium, and it's free for firefighters at swan.com/fire. All SWAN services can be found at swan.com.
Blue Collar Bitcoin is brought to you by CrowdHealth. With open enrollment upon us, what if you didn't have to pay healthcare premiums anymore? What if you could invest in Bitcoin instead? With CrowdHealth, you can put aside money for health expenses in your own account, and even hold a large part of it in Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes up, you get the upside, not big insurance companies. Pay one low monthly total to fund an account that is yours. Choose your doctors and hold up to 75% of the funds in Bitcoin. If a large expense comes up, CrowdHealth will crowdfund the bill and pay it quickly. Stop supporting the broken health insurance system with your hard-earned capital. Go to joincrowdhealth.com and use code BLUE now and experience freedom from health insurance by utilizing Bitcoin. Right now, through the end of the year, you can get your first 6 months for just $99 per month. Don't get stuck in a bad insurance plan again. Instead, go to joincrowdhealth.com and use code BLUE to sign up. That's joincrowdhealth.com, promo code BLUE. CrowdHealth is not health insurance. It's a totally different way of paying for healthcare. Terms and conditions may apply.
The Blue Collar Bitcoin podcast is powered by arguably the most legendary company in Bitcoin, COINKITE. Use promo code BCB for 5% off select purchases, including the cold card, at COINKITE.com. Established Block 141,000, COINKITE is an industry leader in security and hardware manufacturing. They are producers of the renowned COLDCARD, the world's most trusted and secure Bitcoin signing device or hardware wallet. It's built with a plethora of features fit for Bitcoin beginners all the way up to the most advanced of users. This device is a one-stop shop for your Bitcoin custody needs. COINKITE also manufactures the BLOCKCLOCK, a gorgeous e-ink digital art display piece sitting in the background of every serious Bitcoiner on planet Earth. BLOCKCLOCK can be programmed to scroll through key Bitcoin metrics including price, hash rate, the next halving date, and much more. COINKITE are also the makers of the OPENDIME, a small USB stick that allows you to spend Bitcoin like a dollar bill, passing it along multiple times. Check out COINKITE's entire suite of products at COINKITE.com.
All right, so this is the part that we've all been waiting for. This is the part that's a bit more complex, but if you follow along, take your time, and make sure that you are very diligent about putting exactly in the command line what I show you, what I tell you to put in the command line, you're going to be just fine. So on Macs, we're going to go open terminal. Just look it up with the Finder. Open up terminal right here. Okay, so now we're going to follow step one. So what we're going to do is we're going to just simply copy this first command into terminal. So that command copied exactly, and then hit enter. Now it's going to ask for a password. See if I remember it. It worked. All right. So now it's telling us we're going to install these specific things at those places, and we're going to hit enter. So it is now installing. All right, so here's an important part that it's not going to cover here in this Start 9 documentation. It says there are 3 commands in your terminal to add Homebrew to your path. So those commands start with echo, and they end right here with these parentheses, shell env. So you're going to copy this entire string, including the parentheses, right there. Copy it, paste it, and hit enter. Okay, so now we've added that to our path, and we're going to move on to the next part. You're notified. All right, so now we want to install Tor. So we're going to go to this number 1 spot here in the command line, install Tor. So we're just going to hit or copy brew install Tor. Hit enter. And it's telling me it's already installed, but in your case, you're going to watch it install right there. All right, so once it's done, you're going to hit brew services, start Tor. All right, so it has successfully started Tor. Okay, so now that we have Tor running, we want to enable system-wide Tor, which is this Apache service. So we're going to copy that command, bring it over here into the command line, hit paste, and enter. It's going to again ask for the password. All right. And in my case, it's already running, so it's going to say operation already in progress. And then we're going to enable a proxy auto-config file. This is the last piece here of the puzzle. We're going to copy and paste that command in. And you should see these library document proxies. So from here, we're going to go into the settings, and we're going to change a couple things in the settings on your Mac, and you will be good to go. So this is a little bit different because Apple has updated since they've put this how-to together, but it's not too difficult. So you're going to go to your Wi-Fi. You're going to go to you're going to hit details over here. So now what you're going to see, so this is the equivalent of what they're showing here, except this is the updated version of it. So you want to go to network, you want to go to your Wi-Fi, and you want to go to proxies, which you can see is right here. So within proxies, we want to set automatic proxy configuration to this URL, which is right here. It's localhost proxy.pec. So you can see I've already added that in here. So when you go to proxies, under this URL domain here, you want to copy localhost proxy.pec, and you want to put that exactly as it's presented there in here. And you want to have this auto proxy configuration toggle to be on. And then you're going to hit OK. And then previously you had to hit apply. You don't need to do that anymore. It just automatically applies. So that's it. Now we've got system-wide Tor running natively on your Mac. That's going to allow you to connect to Sparrow from your embassy. It's going to be beautiful. All right. So now, a couple of things. We want to set up Sparrow to connect to our node now that our node is running Bitcoin Core, Bitcoin Proxy, and Electrys. And we have Homebrew running solidly on our Mac in the background. So what we need to do now is use this guide right here to connect to Sparrow using an Electrum server. So I've got Sparrow open right here. You're going to need to go up to Sparrow and go to Preferences, and then you're going to go to Server. And so in the server menu, we're going to follow these directions here. So you want to hit Private Electrum, and you want to get this onion URL. You need to get that from your embassy. So you're going to go to Services, and you're going to go to Electrys, which is, where is it? There it is. All right, so Electrys. Then you're going to go to Interfaces, and you're going to copy this Tor address right here. So copy that Tor address, and then let's drag Sparrow out over here. So that Tor address is going right here. I'm going to paste it in. Pasting that Tor address. Now here's the thing. You got a backspace, and you got to make sure that you disconnect or take out that HTTP and those 2 forward slashes. You don't want that in there. You just want it to start with the first, and just double check here, KGG, KGG, perfect. And then you want this number here to be 50001. And then you can leave this use SSL off. You can leave certificate blank. You want to have the use proxy tab turned on, and the proxy URL, you want that to be 127.0.0.1. And then this number here needs to be 9050. Now, before we test that connection, double check everything. Make sure everything is on the level. Make sure Bitcoin Core is running and synced. Make sure that Bitcoin Proxy is also running, which is right here. It's running, and it's got a dependency, which is Bitcoin Core. That means it requires Bitcoin Core to be running for it to work. And then we're going to check, then we're going to check Electrys. And so it has 2 dependencies. It needs Core and it needs Proxy to be running, and both are satisfied there. So we are good. So assuming that this onion address is correct and all these other numbers are all good, we're going to hit Test Connection. Let's see what happens. This should connect to our Bitcoin Core our private Electrum node momentarily. It can take a few minutes because we are running over Tor, which can be infamously slow. And there we are. We are connected, RPC enabled, and it says welcome to Electrys version 0.99. That is it. We are connected. All right, I hope that was helpful getting you set up with an embassy, getting you set up with Bitcoin Core, getting a Bitcoin Proxy on there, and getting Electrys set up, along with getting Homebrew on your Mac and getting everything all connected to Sparrow so that you can be your own sovereign individual operating Bitcoin as it should be and as God intended. Get your Bitcoin off of exchanges, get it in your own custody, learn how to use Sparrow, learn how to use a COLDCARD, and please take possession of your own keys. Thanks for joining me.